All right. It's the Ides of September, September 15th. What, 14 days before Beth's birthday? I've been on the 100-mile wilderness since Labor Day, or I guess the day after Labor Day, or the day after that, because I did stop. Anyway, yesterday I had to pull up short. I had a tendon on the side of my knee that was just making me cry. And yesterday's video talks about how I was considering coming off the trail because I thought, man, there's something horribly, horribly wrong. So I hobble, it takes me a couple hours to get to the, to get the last 2 miles, or 1.2 miles. And I actually did my first, wading across the stream to get across west branch of the Pleasant River. Gulf Haggis, where I pulled up short with my injury, is they call it the Grand Canyon of the East. And I actually saw a couple of the falls, and they were beautiful. Apparently there's 7, so it's a loop trail. I'm going to go ahead and anyway. So I find out. I come back and I cross the river, and I meet a couple of guys, and they say it sounds like an IT band, which is apparently a tendon that runs from my hip down to below my knee, and that you can stress it and overuse it, and it just aches like a son of a gun. It's alarming is the word that he kept on, gives an alarming level of pain. And that's exactly what was happening. And I pointed it out, and he said, yeah, that's IT band. And he said, rest it. And I was planning on staying in camp all day today. So I walked up, 0.1 miles from the ford, and I met another couple at the campground here. It's not a campground, but it's a place where there are some level places where people camp, because ready water source and flat places to set up a tent. And Nonfiction was her trail name. Confirmed that yes, it sounds exactly like a IT band, and that rest is good for it. And there was a guy, Ghost and Lemon showed up, and Ghost offered honey buns and Gatorade and Jim Beam. And I'm not usually much for drinking, but it did sure make my leg feel a little bit better. Couple of swallows of that. Well, actually, I was feeling better just by not having a pack and being in my flip-flops or my Crocs and just standing around. It seemed to have subsided a bit. And as I'm standing there, and of course, the activity that we're doing is we're talking and we're discussing different things on the trail and different beautiful parts of the trail, and and how they seem to the Maine seems to be finding ways of locating rocks and roots and bogs, all out of proportion to but at the same time doing a lot of work. So find really bad places and then do a lot of work to make them nicer. So stairways instead of switchbacks, and bog logs instead of avoiding the bogs. They don't do anything about the rocks and roots, though. Anyway, so Maine maintainers, I use an E with that, maintainers. They do a lot of work, and they have wonderful looking privies. So far, I mean, they have privies not only in the they have privies at a parking spot over here for the Gulf Haggis, for people who want to hike the Gulf Haggis cutoff. Men and women's privies even. and they provide toilet paper at these privies. I'm just amazed. It's just a level of sophistication that I haven't seen before. But they even have privies at different camping locations. So like I said, I'm impressed with how much the maintainers do. Maintainers. But at the same time, I wish they could locate a trail that didn't, just use old logging roads, unused logging roads, but these, I want to hike with my head held high, and not injure my leg because I'm stressing a tendon, just because, even my distance per day has dropped dramatically, without dropping the effort, because even when it's flat, I'm wiped out because I'm having to do more technical. I'm doing technical work of placing my feet on a level path. So I don't see the rationale. This is supposed to be an Appalachian trail, not bushwhack. All right, I'm speaking out of pain at this point. Anyway, so I've been lollygagging around. It's 12:30. I'm going to go ahead and hike up this next bit. I am taking my time getting out of camp. As it is, it's only about a half hour later than when I got out of camp yesterday, and I didn't focus on that, but I did talk to a lot of people yesterday morning at the shelter. So a couple people from Auburn, another guy from and his wife from actually the Auburn fans. Actually, the guy's trail name was War Eagle, and his wife was a Honeydew. And the Alabama, I didn't get his name. I didn't even take pictures of him. But the Alabama fan, both couples are from Maryland. But one's an Alabama fan couple and one's an Auburn fan couple, which is interesting that they're both from Maryland, or they're both living in Maryland. And the Alabama fan said that a lot of his relatives went to Auburn, so it's house divided. Anyhow, so I'm going to be taking out of here in a minute. I'm all packed up, as you can see. My pack is packed. I've got a couple of water bottles. One from Gatorade that came from Ghost, and one with a mixture of green tea and a drink packet that's supposed to give oxidants and be tangerine flavor, and it's horrible stuff. So I figured, well, I can, green tea was for makes 2 quarts, and the tangerine stuff is supposed to make like 16 ounces or whatever. So I combined 2 packets of the tangerine antioxidant stuff and the vitamin C with the 2-quart mixture of green tea, and I'm spreading it out among 2 liters and a pint. And so I have one of the liters in the pint added water all the way up. The other one, once I divvied it up, I put 2/5 of it into the other liter, and figured I'll get water later, or maybe I'll get water tomorrow. But when I've made 2 liters of any type of a drink before, it has absolutely I've absolutely had to, that's the only water I had when I came into camp to make dinner with, and dinner made with fruity drink or Kool-Aid type drink is not necessarily the best thing in the world. Anyway, like I said, I've been I rested it this morning. I tried to lay around as much as I could, but I'm in camp and just bored to tears. There's a babbling brook, but it's also next to kind of a marshy area, and where the river is, and and it's as such, it has great access to bugs, and while bugs are okay, especially since I'm covered with I've put on my DEET application for the day. They're not bothering me now. Basically, as soon as I get bit for the first time is when I put on the DEET in the morning. So I put it on a couple hours ago. It's supposed to last for up to 10 hours. It usually lasts all day, or mostly all over all day. So I do that transparent bandage that I used on my ulcer, abscess, wound. Since I had it on all day, it actually helped. The water didn't come up that level in the ford, but anyway. So can you see that? So it's building up a little bit of fluid, which is what it did last time when I used this type of Tegaderm covering, which didn't seem to be a problem, especially since the patch that you saw in there was Aquacel AG, which is antimicrobial. So getting it wet actually ends up being better on killing microbes. So in a couple of days, actually it may last until I get to Monson. When I peel it off, depending on how it looks, I may be, well, no, I'm probably going to continue to put that stuff on, way past I guess the need for it, just because keeping that antimicrobial stuff. But I have one completely unused packet of that Aquacel AG, so I'll be sending when I get to Monson. I'll send that to Mom, and so she can use it as she sees fit. I've already sent. I left the iodoform tape with Sarah, so Sarah can use that as she sees fit. Give all this wound treatment stuff to my relatives that are nurses. So, all right. Well, that's September 15th. I may, if I get to somewhere dramatic, I may do another video. As it is, it's for me the drama today was this tendon, this IT band that just absolutely hurt yesterday at the end of the day. And I only did 7 miles yesterday. So today, if I do 11, I get to go to Cloud Pond lean-to. If I do 4, I'll be at the chairback lean-to. If I do a middle of that, say at a campground, I might have better water, because chairback doesn't have is supposed to have water, but not so good. So I've got about 2 liters. The Gatorade and the 2 drink mixed ups, things that are mixed up with drink. So we'll see what happens, and I may end up having a lot of stuff left over, depending on how much I drink today. I may drink it all up. May mix up that other liter of stuff and see what happens. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Bye.